Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to 3 News Now. I'm Stephanie Haney, and today is Thursday, February 17th. Thanks for being here with me for the top stories from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. Here on 3 News Now, we cover the stories that matter most to you. These are the stories that all of you are clicking on, that you're reading, that you're sharing on our website and our app. So let's get started with big news today. Lots of big names coming into the Cleveland area this weekend. Yes, it is NBA All-Star Weekend. We'll talk about that more in just a minute. But also today, President Joe Biden was in Cleveland and Lorain. And while he was here, he announced a $1 billion investment in Great Lakes restoration. That's while he was in Lorain. This is part of the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. This will be the largest federal investment that is made to the Great Lakes restoration efforts. While he was here, he said that the Midwest built America, and we're building it again. Now, he was here very shortly. He landed at Cleveland Hopkins Airport at about 10:45 a.m. That's when he was greeted by Cleveland Mayor Justin Bibb. Then he traveled to the shipyards in Lorain. That's where he spoke. That was a little bit after noon. And then he was back on Air Force One at Cleveland Hopkins at 1:45 p.m. Now, while he was here talking about that $1 billion that will be earmarked for Great Lakes restoration, he reiterated that that does include upgrading water systems. And that is a very big deal, and particularly right now today here in Northeast Ohio, because right now what we have happening is a weather event where a lot of snow is thawing and we're getting some rain, and that's creating a situation that could lead to potential flooding. Jen Elting with the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District told 3 News that this is something that's natural, particularly this time of the year. And she said that they've identified more than $1 billion worth of stormwater problems that need to be solved, and an additional $500 million just for local communities. So it's not likely that that whole $1 billion will go to the stormwater problems, but definitely no shortage of places for that money to be spent here in Northeast Ohio. Now, speaking about the flooding, we do have a live blog up on WKYC.com to capture those flooding concerns and keep you as up to date as possible from our 3 News meteorology team, because we are in store for a very wild weather day here in Northeast Ohio. There will be heavy rain, there will be freezing rain, there will be sleet, there will be accumulating snow, and the temperatures will drop. Yesterday, what a gorgeous day yesterday, and what a gorgeous morning and afternoon today if you had the opportunity to step outside at all. But the temperatures are going to drop in the next couple of days here. So we are looking at the flooding potential right now in the region. That's on our live blog. Our latest update came at about noon from Emma Henderson, our 3 News reporter. She was in the Vermilion area looking at high river levels, saying some roads are closed and several docks and waterside patios have been damaged. The National Weather Service said that public officials were watching the ice jam break and ice being flushed out of the Vermilion River. So the Vermilion River, Vermilion area, particularly an area of concern at the moment. Also, just before noon, there was a flood warning issued in Erie County. So make sure you're being vigilant. Keep up with that live blog. It's on WKYC.com. You can find it there. And if you're watching this on YouTube when it's posted momentarily, and on WKYC.com, then you'll be able to find those direct links there. It'll take you right to the live blog. But for now, if you go right to WKYC.com, you'll be able to see that. And speaking of the way the weather is going to change, we've got the flooding because of the snowpack melting. Well, then there's going to be some freezing situations. So there's a winter weather advisory for parts of Northeast Ohio. These are the areas starting at 4 p.m. today through 7 a.m. tomorrow. Cuyahoga, Geauga, Lake, Lorain, Medina, and Summit. Starting at 10 p.m. tonight through 4 a.m. tomorrow, Mahoning, Portage, Stark, and Trumbull counties. A little bit later, starting at 7 p.m. tonight through 1 a.m., so ending a little bit earlier, Ashland, Home, Richland, and Wayne counties, and then already in effect starting at 2 p.m. but ending at 1 a.m. in the morning, Erie, Huron, Ottawa, and Seneca County. So the issue here is the rain is going to come down this afternoon, and then it's going to change over to freezing rain and sleet and then snow by late this evening. So here's the thing. If you are driving, this is what we're hearing. You need to plan on slippery roads, hazardous conditions, and that could impact your drive this evening. So be aware as those temperatures start to drop when that rain turns to sleet and freezing rain and then eventually snow with a bit of accumulation expected in areas here in Northeast Ohio. Now we return to a story in the South Euclid-Lyndhurst area about Brush High School. We talked about yesterday, there was a student protest last week where students walked out. Students said that the administration had talked with them about the female dress code and told the girls that they could be responsible for boys' potential sexual harassment depending on how they dress. So now the South Euclid Lyndhurst School Board is addressing those concerns, sort of. They didn't say very much, but here's what they did say. Board President Cassandra Jones says that the district is hands down committed to a harassment-free staff and student culture, and they are looking at the matter that's being in question. It's being investigated. So parents asked about specifics, and Jones would only respond that it was a legal investigation and said she can't speak to what's going on, but it is being actively conducted. And then the board wouldn't take any further questions. They said they had been legally advised not to discuss any claims that have been made about the Brush staff or students. So this is obviously a developing story. Our 3 News' Carmen Blackwell has been on it. We will continue to give you updates as they become available, hoping we can get a little bit more information from the school board that can be a little less tight-lipped and we can learn more about that investigation that's ongoing and those students' and parents' concerns about potential sexual harassment among the students happening at Brush High School. Now, if you've been paying attention to the news, which hopefully you have if you're here, there's a good chance that you have been, you notice that over the past few days, companies like Disney, Walmart, and Amazon have made changes to their mask mandates. And starting tomorrow, people at Disney, which are fully vaccinated, will be able to leave masks at home. They won't have to wear masks at Disney. U.S. employees at Amazon and Walmart won't be having to wear masks as well. But as a country, the CDC director, Rochelle Walensky, says we're not there yet when it comes to mask recommendations. Bit of a change, though, in the barometer for what qualifies as requiring masks in the U.S. She says hospital capacity is an important thing to look at. So this would be a bit of a new benchmark. Before, we've been looking at case numbers and positivity rates. Hospital capacity, though, would be a shift, a bit of a shift. And our local health leaders say they are on board with that. They support that change because it's not just about individual cases, it's about the whole community. University Hospital's infectious disease specialist, Dr. Amy Edwards, says that she completely agrees with the decision to move that metric over to hospital capacity, current hospital usage, bed availability in the hospitals, that kind of thing. And it's a more relevant metric, she says, in light of where we are in the pandemic. But she did say this, you know, obviously it would be great to hear from the CDC that we are in a place where we can drop the use of masks, right? That would be wonderful if we were in that place in the pandemic. But she says we're moving in the right direction, even if that is a bit discouraging. She says she actually anticipates much of the fall in the coming year that will be mask-free. And she says actually even much of late spring and summer and early fall could be mask-free. So we will wait and we will see what the guidance is and we will make sure we listen to the science and we will report to you what that science is. That is something certainly to look forward to because that means we are moving in the right direction. Okay, let's take a look at the latest numbers, speaking of the pandemic, in from the Ohio Department of Health as it pertains to COVID-19. Bit of a drop in the new COVID-19 cases in the last 24 hours. That number is 1,999, so just under 2,000 new COVID cases in the last 24 hours. Right now, a decrease of people in the hospital, 1,842. So again, shifting to taking a closer look at that number as Dr. Walensky from the CDC says that's something that we'll continue to be looking at. Now, out of those 1,842 people that are in the hospital being treated for COVID here in Ohio, 395 of them are being treated in the ICU. That's actually the same number in the ICU as we saw yesterday. Now, if you have been watching the Winter Olympics, you know the figure skating has been quite the conversation with Russian Olympic Committee competitor Kamila Valieva. So last night, which is, you know, the hours are different in Beijing. They're 13 hours ahead of us. So overnight, Kamila Valieva competed, and it was possible that she was a top contender to win the gold. Now remember, she's still at the center of a doping scandal after testing positive in December for a banned heart medicine. So the International Olympic Committee said she could go ahead and compete, but there wouldn't be a medal ceremony if she did finish as one of those top 3 skaters. Now, the results won't be known, the final results on the merits of what will happen because of her testing positive for that banned substance, but what it did affect is it affected the team event. So the Russian Olympic Committee won gold with Valieva's performance. Now, as she competed in the short program, she placed fourth. So she did not medal in the short program. So there was able to be that medal ceremony for the short program. She was favored, as I said, to win gold for the women's figure skating, but that did not happen. Now, we will have to wait and see what happens with the team event for figure skating, because the Russian Olympic Committee did win gold. If it does end up being the fact that she was not eligible to compete in the Olympics because of testing positive for that banned substance back in December, then Team USA, which won silver, would then bump up to winning gold, and we will be watching that as well. We will bring you those updates as they become available. Speaking of high-class competition, 3 News exclusively talked with NBA Commissioner Adam Silver. It was our sports director, Jim Donovan, to have the conversation with him about the Cleveland Cavaliers becoming a super team, quote, the right way. Now, when you're having a conversation about super teams, you have to take a look at where the Cavs are right now. Right now, they're at 35-23 in 4th place in the Eastern Conference. It feels like they might make their first playoff appearance since 2018. And if you're talking about super teams, remember, it was when LeBron James first left the Cavs in 2010 that helped create what many considered to be the league's first super team with the Miami Heat, when he teamed up with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. And then 4 years later, he came back to Cleveland to form another super team with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love. And super teams in the NBA are often associated with free agency. That's according to Adam Silver. And he said, oftentimes you see the place where very successful players come together for the purpose of winning a championship, often later in their career. But there's a different way to build a super team, and it can be done with a budding powerhouse, which is what the Cavs seem to be becoming here in the NBA. And there's obviously a negative connotation associated with these high-profile players coming together later in their career. But he says that he thinks Cleveland is becoming a super team conducted in the right way, where there's a recognition that it's a team sport. You have to come together to truly win a championship. People play off of each other and feed off of each other, and it grows. It's a growing team. A lot of young players on the Cavaliers right now. And he says that's what makes for great teams, makes for great basketball, and he loves the trend that he's seeing in the league right now. It's a great position for the Cleveland Cavaliers right now, and very excited to say that the Cavs have not one, but 2 people represented in the 2022 NBA All-Star Game. That's happening on Sunday. There is Darius Garland, but then also Jarrett Allen, who was named as a replacement for injured guard James Harden earlier this week. So very excited about that. Also, 2 players from the Cavs will be in the Clorox Rising Stars game. That's Isaac Okoro and rookie Evan Mobley, who has really been taking the NBA by storm. So very exciting there. Super exciting to have the 2022 NBA All-Star Game here in Cleveland. And whether you've lived here your whole life or you're just visiting for the weekend, I went ahead and put together a 3 All-Star bingo card. This is so that whether you're just in town, again, for the weekend, or you've lived here your whole life, you can take NBA All-Star Weekend and you can have the most Cleveland experience possible. So you can find that bingo card on WKYC.com. It's also on our NBA All-Star landing page. It's on our Instagram page, WKYC3. I've also tweeted it out, _ Stephanie Haney. So you can find it on the internet. Just look for that hashtag 3 All-Star Cleveland bingo card. Listen, there are only 24 spaces though, so don't roast me too hard if you aren't completely on board with all of the things that are on there. But you've got your celebrity sightings, all of the Cavaliers associated ones: LeBron James, Darius Garland, Jarrett Allen, Isaac Okoro, Evan Mobley, and then your staples around here, getting yourself a donut at Brunette's, going through the West Side Market, hitting up the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, buying a t-shirt with the word Cleveland on it. So take a look at it. Hey, and let me know if there would be other things that are on your NBA All-Star bingo card. And if you do take part in some of the things that are on that hashtag 3 All-Star Cleveland bingo card, make sure you post about it. Tag WKYC on Twitter and WKYC3 on Instagram, and use that hashtag 3 All-Star so that we can follow along with you, because the time is now, folks. The people are descending upon the land, and we are ready for some basketball fun as we head into the NBA All-Star break here in Cleveland, with Cleveland in the national spotlight. All right, that's it for your 3 News Now update today for Thursday, February 17th. Everybody enjoy this warm weather while it lasts. Be careful for the flooding, and be careful for those temperatures dropping tonight. Stay glued to that WKYC live weather blog so we make sure we keep you informed and you stay weather ready. And I'll be back here tomorrow with more 3 News Now.